I'm not entirely sure why I'm saying this out loud. Maybe to finally breathe, or maybe just to hear my own voice admit what I've done. I cheated, not because I stopped loving my husband, but because I was foolish enough to mistake attention for affection and weakness for warmth. My name is Lily. I'm 31. I have a husband, Josh. Kind, trusting, the kind of man who loves gently, almost too gently. And I have a best friend, Megan. We've known each other for nearly a decade, shared everything, or at least I thought we did. But I betrayed them both in one single unforgettable night. I'm telling this story not to be forgiven, but to understand how someone like me could lose everything. Just because of one night.
Welcome to the Confession Stories, where real people share the moments they wish they could erase. And every word you hear is true. Tonight's story belongs to Lily, a wife, a friend, and a woman who crossed the line between emotion and betrayal. It was supposed to be a harmless night at a hotel, just like her husband said. But the man who walked into her room wasn't her husband. This is Lily's confession.
Before I talk about that night, I need to tell you what the weeks before felt like. Josh works as an engineer. He often takes night shifts, sometimes 3, 4 in a row. Our home became a passing station, him coming in as I left, me coming home when he was already asleep. We texted more than we talked. Little things. Did you eat? Emma's homework done? Don't forget to water the plants. We were a team, functional, reliable, quiet. One night he sent me a photo from work. His eyes were tired, his hair messy. The caption said, "Still alive, just coffee and machines." I reacted with a heart, but I stared at it too long. Somewhere between love and routine, I had started missing something I couldn't name. When you live too long in stability, you forget that calm can be dangerous too. It makes you careless. That Friday, Emma slept at my parents'. Josh had another night shift, and I had that company dinner, the one that changed everything. The restaurant was quiet, filled with soft jazz and golden light. Daniel sat across from me, Megan beside him. She looked tired, still beautiful, but distracted. Halfway through dinner, she leaned over, whispering, "I'm heading home first. I've got an early meeting. Daniel will take care of the bill." Then she smiled at me. "You two behave," and left with a small laugh. Daniel sighed. "She's been working herself sick lately. I keep telling her to rest." He swirled his wine, the reflection of the light trembling on the glass. I smiled politely, but his tone lingered. There was something in it, not flirting, just loneliness that sounded familiar. We talked. About the office, about the weather, then slowly about life. How marriages change shape, how time dulls excitement. He said, "Megan's amazing, but sometimes it feels like we talk around each other, not to each other." I replied, "Josh talks too much. Sometimes I wish he'd just stop asking if I'm okay." We laughed softly. Then he said, "You know, he's lucky to have you." It shouldn't have meant anything, but it did. The next hour passed like mist. Laughter, glances, pauses that lasted too long. Every time I looked up, he was already watching me. When the rain started, the group began leaving one by one. Megan texted that she was home already. Daniel looked at his phone, then at me. "Let me call you a cab. You shouldn't drive in this weather." I hesitated. "I can manage." He smiled, gentle but firm. "Please, it'll make me feel better." Outside, under the umbrella, our shoulders brushed, the kind of touch that means nothing. until it does. For the first time, I was afraid of my own heartbeat. The cab stopped just before midnight, rain still falling, thin and cold. Daniel paid the driver, glanced at me. "Go ahead. I'll wait till you're safely inside." We stepped into the lobby, quiet except for the soft hum of the rain outside. I turned to thank him, but when the elevator doors closed, the silence pressed in. He said, "I'll walk you to your room." "You don't have to." "I know." The elevator dinged. We walked down a long corridor, carpet soft under our steps. I fumbled with the key card. He steadied my hand. The door clicked open. He smiled faintly. "See? You're safe." I smiled back, nervous. And then, we both stopped pretending. I don't know who leaned in first. His lips tasted like red wine and rain. My body moved before my conscience could stop it. It wasn't passionate. It wasn't lust. It was two people trying to fill a silence that had been growing for years. When it ended, we lay there, both awake, both pretending to sleep. He sat up first, buttoning his shirt. I should go. I didn't answer. He hesitated, hand on the door. "I'm sorry." "Don't be," I whispered. "Neither of us meant for this." But it happened. The door closed, and somehow that sound was louder than the storm. The next morning, I couldn't face my reflection. I stayed in bed, curtains shut. Josh texted, "Night shift's killing me, but I'll make breakfast tomorrow." I typed back, "I'm fine, just tired." 3 days later, at work, Megan walked over. She was holding a small paper bag. "Lily, you forgot your scarf at the hotel. Daniel asked me to drop it off." Her tone was casual. Her smile wasn't. "Oh, right," I said, forcing a laugh. "Must have been too drunk." "Yeah," she said, eyes narrowing just slightly. "He said you could barely stand. Lucky he stayed to make sure you were okay." That bag sat on my desk all day like evidence. Every time I looked at it, guilt burned a hole through my chest. That night, Josh hugged me from behind. "You still seem tired." "I'm okay," I said, voice breaking. "Let's take Emma out this weekend," he said softly. "You need a break." He didn't know the thing I needed to break from was myself. The next few nights I barely slept. Each phone notification felt like a countdown. Daniel didn't text. Neither did Megan, just silence, the kind that screams. A week later, Megan found me in the break room. "Hey, are you okay?" "Yeah, why?" She hesitated. "That night, I called Daniel. He said you were drunk. So he took you to the hotel." She paused. "Are you sure you're okay?" I forced a laugh. "Yeah, he's kind." She looked at me longer than friends should. "Yeah," she said finally, "he is kind." After that, she never mentioned it again. But her smile changed, tighter, slower. She stopped inviting me for coffee breaks. The silence between us felt heavier than words ever could. At night, Josh would talk about his day, about Emma's new words, about how he wanted to take a few days off just for us. And every time, I smiled, like nothing was broken. One night, I found myself scrolling through my old texts with Daniel, work messages, nothing personal. But now, every thanks and see you looked like red flags. I deleted the thread, then emptied the trash folder. But digital ghosts don't delete that easily. On Sunday, we went to the park. Emma ran ahead, chasing pigeons. Josh laughed, hands in his jacket pockets. He looked at me and said, "You've been quiet lately." "I'm fine," I lied. He sat beside me on the bench. "You sure?" "Just tired." He nodded. "Then let's take that trip we talked about, somewhere quiet." I almost cried. He was planning a new memory while I was still drowning in the old one. When Emma came running back, She climbed into my lap and said, "Mummy, promise you won't be sad anymore." I smiled, holding her tight. "I promise." That night, after she slept, I opened my phone and started typing a message to Josh. "I need to tell you something." I stared at it until the letters blurred, then deleted it word by word. A minute later, another message appeared from Megan. "We need to talk. Tonight." I froze. "About what?" I typed back. "About the hotel," she wrote. "No judgments. But I need the truth." I sat there, phone in hand, listening to the sound of Josh brushing his teeth down the hall. Every ordinary noise felt like thunder. Maybe this is what the edge sounds like, might. Not a scream, not a crash, just a heartbeat waiting for your confession. Since that night, every morning I wake up feeling like I'm carrying something too heavy to belong to me. I still laugh, still work, still play the part of a good wife and mother. But every time my phone buzzes, my heart skips. Some evenings I watch Josh playing with Emma and I ask myself if I deserve this peace. Sometimes I don't even dare to look him in the eyes, because silence can be the loudest punishment. One afternoon, I saw Daniel in the parking lot. He looked at me for half a second, then turned away. No words, no apology, just the echo of what we couldn't undo. That night, Josh was humming while putting Emma to sleep. "Josh," he looked up. "Yeah? Nothing. I just feel lucky to have you." He smiled, that same soft smile I took for granted, and somehow it broke me. I haven't told him. Maybe I never will. Not because I'm proud, but because I'm terrified. Terrified to lose the last piece of peace I still have. So I'm telling you this, because maybe someone out there needs to hear it. Sometimes it's just one wrong step, one harmless moment, and you spend the rest of your life replaying it. If you ask what I regret most, it's not the night itself. It's not stopping it when I still could. Mistakes don't begin with actions. They begin with glances, with words, with comfort we shouldn't take. And when you finally see what you've lost, sorry doesn't mean anything anymore.
You've just listened to Lily's confession, a story with no villains, only wounds that never quite heal. If you're holding a secret, remember, sometimes speaking, it isn't about forgiveness. It's about forgiving yourself. Send your story to the Confessions Stories. Every voice matters. Every truth deserves to be heard. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you in the next confession.